Hi guys, here I am on my phone. So, because all of a sudden the computer wouldn't work. So I'm live. I'm here. I described a few minutes ago. I know we're we're moving the phone, so please forgive us for that. But we're going to get this right. Really, we are. We tried to change computers. We tried to change lights. The light's too far away now, too, Julian. The 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 problem is something about where there's not a connection on the computer. So here I am, live on the cell phone. So y'all tell me what you want to talk about. Some of the things you called in ahead of time, and I don't know why y'all are worried about it because I'm the one on the camera. Okay. Hi, Tiff. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, listen, guys. Some of you have called in questions ahead of time. Just know that nobody can actually see your questions right now. It's me. So I wanted to address a question that someone else called in about. The question was about erectile dysfunction. I can't just answer that just across the board because everybody's so totally different. For instance, one of the questions I would have is, do you have high blood pressure? That makes a difference of whether or not you can take certain products. But if you don't have high blood pressure, my very favorite product is actually a cream. It is all natural, so it works very much like the testosterone cream, but without the cancer component. Sorry, I don't mean to be a smart aleck. I just talked about people being passive aggressive. I think that what I'm really trying to say is that there's a bunch of, it's almost like the whole ADD with kids things. Everybody's different. So you can call and make an appointment with me and you'll get my undivided attention, okay? And then we'll figure out the one that's best for you because I'm not really sure. Hi, Mary. Hi, Nikki. Glad y'all are all here. And the other, I'll go back, I'll answer y'all's questions in a second, but what I want to answer right now is I also did something I've never done before. I got involved in a Facebook conversation. Now, many of y'all are really good at this whole Facebook thing, and so you know that you can really be making a mistake by getting involved. But somebody was asking about a protein shake, and yet they didn't have any protein in it. And then everybody's response about the protein was kind of crazy. Hi, Alicia. Chris is driving. Okay. Well, for some reason, there wasn't an internet connection. So here at the last second, poor Julian's holding my cell phone. So if you... We don't know how to fix it, but I'm glad you're going to a party. So anyway, I got involved in this conversation where this lady was naming all these things that she was putting in her shake, and none of it was protein. And then when I suggested that maybe she needed a good protein, then people started naming off odd proteins, like oatmeal. And what was the other odd thing that they called a protein? Not that there's not protein in it. But I'm talking about whey protein. So those of you, hi, Tiff. What a sweet thing to say. I'm reading Tiffany's question, and she's saying she did some research. Okay, I said that I was not going to talk about CBD, but I changed my mind. I changed my mind because I've always tried to stay cutting edge anyway, and I know that there's going to be a lot of controversy, but golly gee, there was controversy about CoQ10. There was controversy about pycnogenol, and that didn't keep me from talking about it. So I'm going to talk about it. We actually have an endocannabinoid system, a receptor site up here and a receptor site down here in the gut, that they say the only thing that can fill it is cannabis. And, of course, marijuana is not legal in every state, and also marijuana also has the THC, and so therefore those of us who come from alcoholic backgrounds or drug abusive backgrounds, you don't want to be doing the THC part even if it were legal, like a lot of people are listening in Colorado and California and other places. I'm just saying that the CBD oil is actually an industrial hemp. The THC amount of the one that I like, which is CV Sciences, and I'm going to repeat that a couple of times, Carla, do you mind? Where'd she go? I was going to get her to hand me a CBD oil, and Julian offered that a minute ago, but no, Julian, don't move. He's got my cell phone. He's holding the phone. I'm so sorry, guys. And we even have a tripod if we'd just known this was going to happen. And Julian, you got to be higher. Look how old I'm looking. You can't do that. Can't do that. And my chair won't go down any lower, and I'm going to be trying to go down lower unless the phone won't go higher.
Which size bottle would you like?
Anything. Yeah, thank you, baby. This one is my favorite. This one's my favorite. And we sell it, and the one I like the best is CV Sciences, and the reason for it, and I'll go back to that in a second. But the reason I like this one the best is really because of the company. Stuart did all the research for omega-3, and I really trust him. That's the bottom line. And I've been doing this for 36 or 37 years, and I can tell you that my colleagues trust CV Sciences. So that's what really matters, okay? But what it is that the industrial hemp is not even the same plant as marijuana. So I don't know what all the controversy is, except for the fact that I think they're just trying to make it into a drug. And that's the issue, okay? You start on a very low dose. I have higher doses, but the one I like is the low dose, and it's only $20, okay? You're to start very low, you find your dose, and then you do more if you need to, but you don't start high and then go back. And that's kind of hard, especially for people my age, where we always thought if a little was good, then a whole lot must be better. And that's not true with the CBD oil. The CBD oil, the endocannabinoid system, actually, it just balances it. It balances it. Now, I have personal testimony from everybody seems to need a different amount, but I have personal testimony from a lot of people that are saying that they seem to do better on the lower dose, and I think that's true. But my prayer partner says that it really helped with her insomnia, and it really helped with PTSD. Now, that all sounds great, but what's most important about that is that she's also a 2-time cancer survivor. Hi, Robin. Hi, Terry. So glad y'all are here. So the point is if the CBD oil is working at all, then it might be working also for the cancer. I've seen great, great, great results. But my favorite testimony so far, because it really works with pain, they've been using this, y'all, since the 1900s. So it's just, everybody needs a different amount, but if we start with the lowest amount, hi, Mimi, if we start with the lowest amount and then titrate up, that more is not better. It seems also that it matters whether or not you're a pot smoker. I know that sounds crazy, but it seems like if you were ever a pot smoker, then your receptor sites are different than people that have never smoked. But the truth of the matter is that for anxiety, it's definitely for anxiety. It's for depression and anxiety. That was what I was going to say, is that my favorite testimony is a 75-year-old lady that, by the way, Tiff, looks like your mother. It's amazing. This woman looks so young. She's brilliant. But she said she never knew she was depressed until she wasn't. Hey, buddy, you're so precious. You're so welcome. She said she never knew she was depressed until she wasn't depressed. To me, that was the main thing. That's what I have seen the best results with, is people saying how much better they genuinely feel. They genuinely feel that much better. So I love that, okay? Hi, Albert. Y'all tell me about tell me what you want to talk about, because those were the 3 things I had up my sleeve about the erectile dysfunction, that everybody's different, and that you need to know that we have pills. Oh gosh, you can see tons and tons of pills. Hey, Melanie, but that's not my favorite one. My favorite one is the cream. And also my favorite protein, I didn't say that, but my favorite protein, there's numerous proteins, but I really think that the best one is the Mercola's. I really like Mercola's. It's a little bit pricey, but I think it's probably a superior product because it's grass-fed and all that. Okay, guys, y'all better you better tell me your questions, because if you don't, you know what they say at Rotary. If you sit next to me, you're going to talk about your prostate. Anybody want to talk about the prostate? Okay, so here's the thing. Hi, Karen. Um, I think we're all so beautifully, completely different that I don't think we should have a blanket statement that everybody needs to take this and everybody needs to take that. Though I am often questioned if you could only take one thing. Hey, Paula, I miss you, Miss P. If you could only take one thing, what would it be? Because people ask me that all the time. You can imagine with all the stuff I have and all the many years I've been doing it, then for sure that every time I read about something, I think I have it. And people are always saying, well, what if you couldn't take but one thing? Jillian, this is driving me crazy. It's like I'm looking, it needs to be higher. It's like if hold on a second, guys, to see if we can put this on top of this. Hold on and see if that helps any. Hang on a second. This is making me kind of nuts. That's better, don't you think, Jillian? That's better. Yay, yay. Paul, is this better? Oh. Okay, let's talk about vertigo. How's that, Miss P? We'll talk about vertigo. Vertigo is usually, oh, pancreatic cancer, we hear too much. What is our best defense? Okay, that's a good one too, buddy. Let's talk about vertigo first. Vertigo usually, almost always, is just an allergy. I've seen great results with the magnets. If you could talk her into letting me do a biomagnetic pairing on her. And if those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, biomagnetic pairing, go on my website and look and push the button for biomagnetic pairing. But every time I've always corrected it with that. But we also have a simple homeopathic. I think it's called dizziness, vertigo, or vertigo, dizziness, something like that. But that really works. It's usually an allergy. It really kind of makes me crazy, though, because people treat it like it's something major when what it usually is an allergy, okay? But, Paula, I would say let's try the homeopathic on her. Everything they're doing is not working. Okay, buddy, I want to, and Paula, remember that the homeopathic can be taken right on top of all meds. Again, important when you're talking about the elderly. The difference of homeopathy versus herbology. It helps if you could take a homeopathic because then you know there's not a contraindication with the med. Okay, buddy, that's a good thing about pancreatic cancer. I just had this conversation. I've had it twice today, actually. I think we all have cancers, and so the deal is not how to keep from getting cancer. Okay, the thing is that if we eliminate sugars and carbohydrates from our diet, then we would not be feeding cancer. I think we're all walking around with some forms of cancer. It's a matter of whether or not we're doing sugar and conversation. So anyway, I think the most important thing is to stay in ketogenesis. Ketosis, that's the word. A ketogenic diet is my favorite. The word is ketosis. I know that Atkins got in a lot of trouble about wanting people to be in ketosis, but the truth of the matter is cancer can't grow if we stay in ketosis. So I say eliminate sugar, reduce carbohydrates, drink half your body weight in water, and try to live as close to the vine as we can. I mean, eat organic when you can. Eat grass-fed meat and good fish. When I say good fish, you all know I'm a native Floridian, and so I grew up. One side of my whole family fished for a living. Where's all my family, by the way? I don't see any of my cousins online. At least they're staying silent today. We can't always eat organic, but when we can, we should. But the fish has gotten so contaminated, not just in the Gulf, but everywhere. There's so much spill. Hey, Camille. Oh, that's a good question. Is baby aspirin safe to take daily? I think a drug is a drug is a drug, so I don't think there's any drug that's okay to take every day. Actually, I don't think there's any herb that it's okay to take every day. I think a better approach is to figure out what the aspirin does that's positive and try to do that with something a little safer. For instance, I like Kyolic 1 a day, and I think you should take 1 at bedtime. And I think it does the same thing. I think it does the same thing as the aspirin. But, you know, if your doctor puts you on aspirin, then I could get in trouble for saying that to come off of it. But would I take an aspirin every day? No. And there's someone online right now that's listening that could tell you that he ended up in the emergency room, and he doesn't take aspirin usually, but he took a bunch of aspirin. Was it aspirin? Could you answer me back, honey? I'm not sure if everybody could see the answer. But he ended up in the emergency room because just in 1 day worth of taking those drugs, aspirin's a drug, taking those drugs in just 1 day, he actually caused such damage that I think he caused a hole in his gut. Anyway, I don't think aspirin's okay, though I do think, and he's answering back, yep, it was aspirin. I don't think there's anything wrong, and if you're going to take one of them, I think aspirin's the one you should take. But I don't think you should take it every day. I just don't. I don't know. When I agreed to open Sweet Basil's, which y'all know I am not the retail type, when I agreed to open Sweet Basil's, God gave me that scripture that said, "And the fruit will be your meat and the herbs your medicine." Is that Ezekiel 47:12? I think that was pretty clear. I don't know that we're supposed to be doing, don't get me wrong, emergency meds for emergencies. One day I walked out of my office and there was a young lady in her early 30s. Hey, Cindy. There was a young lady that was at the front counter with her arms full of supplements. And I said, "Wow, did you hear me speak?" She said, "I did." What do you say? How do you get enough calcium, and how do you, okay. I think you do green leafy vegetables. That's what you do for calcium. Anyway, the lady had all these vitamins in her hand and all these supplements, and she even had my anti-wrinkle cream. And I said, "Did you hear me speak?" And she said, "I did." And she said, "And I told my husband, when I go through menopause, you're who I'm going to see." I said, "Well, I don't think we've met before." I introduced myself. She introduced herself. And then I said, "What brought you to Thomasville?" And she said, "My husband's the new blah, blah, blah doctor." And I went, "Uh-oh, you're going to get me in a lot of trouble." She goes, "No." She said, "I told him what," hey, John, she said, "I told him what you said, that if you think I don't agree with meds, you should have been at the emergency room when I went by ambulance from tearing all the tendons and, well, they tell me it would have been better if I'd broken my ankle. But I had the doctor by his collar screaming Vicodin, and I told this story at Women's Forum, and then, within a couple of days, I'd called 2 or 3 other medical doctors and gotten more drugs. There's a place for meds. I think emergencies require emergency medicine. What I don't agree with is taking any kind of drug all the time. I don't think that's the right approach. There's just a better approach. Okay, Camille, I want to go back to your question about the calcium. Julian, I'm sorry you got to hold that silly phone, but you're doing a really good job. We're going to start calling you Vanna. The thing is that calcium is important. It's especially important for a little albino like you. But the truth is you don't need a whole lot of it. You need more magnesium than you do calcium. So I used to always love that old product, magnesium, calcium. Carla, is it here or are we out of stock again?
It's the third one.
Where?
One from the top right there.
Okay,
by the wall.
okay, there we go. It's up higher. This one's always been my favorite. This one's always been my favorite, but we have trouble keeping it in stock. That's one issue. And the other issue is that it's like big old horse pills, and they're hard for some people to swallow. So I started trying to find a better way. So we have our own magnesium now in a powder form. Tiff says I got to go because of that. Oh, well, thank you, baby. I love you too, and thanks so much for letting me talk about the CBD oil. I really, 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 really believe in it. Okay, I've seen great results for pain, for depression. Those are really the 2 things that I've seen the best results with. I love you. Okay, back to the calcium. I found sorry, I hadn't really planned on jumping up and running to get products, and you know what's so funny is Julian did offer to bring me some products, but I'm going to go over there and get it. Hold on. I have been pushing this product for years, but now I have mine. Oops. And I really think it's better, and it's a whole lot cheaper, okay? Well, so the thing about this is it's magnesium, and I think the magnesium is more important than the calcium. So what we did is we have a powdered calcium also, and I just took a couple of tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of the calcium and put it into my Fizzy Mag, and it lasts forever, and it's less than $20, okay? The Natural Calm is $24. So that's $4 right there. But let me see the size-wise. Okay, I've never really looked that closely. They're about the same size. But you get a whole lot more with the Fizzy Mag, including some D3 and zinc and potassium. But what I do, Camille, is I add just a couple of tablespoons of that powdered calcium to my magnesium, so I'm making a product like the one up there that I always loved, only it's in a powder form. So how cool is that? Okay, Camille, if you can't take estrogen and replace it, oh, good, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I really love the Newton menopause drops because they balance. They're homeopathic. And I really found that product because my sister had breast cancer. So that could be taken by anybody that has had breast cancer or any other kind of cancer. Hi, Pam. But I like the one that's in the store, and you can walk in the store and you can buy it over the counter. But the one I like the best is actually the prescription strength, which you have to make an appointment with me for, which is no big deal. I don't charge. I'm just saying that one happens to be prescription strength. And what that does is instead of pushing estrogen or pushing progesterone or pushing testosterone, you actually balance your hormones of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So that's the approach I really like. Did that answer it, Camille? Because I really feel like anytime we could hit something with either a vitamin or a mineral or homeopathic, I reach for that before I reach for herbal. Because herbal, I think, should be almost used like prescription drugs in that it's pushing something, it's not balancing. And I like the balancing approach. I can't see the time. Okay. All right, guys, y'all got more questions? All right, we're going to end up talking about the prostate again if y'all don't come up with more questions. Let's talk about insomnia. A lot of people have insomnia. A lot of people do. And the first line of defense, in my opinion, is to indeed get your hormones balanced. When you balance your hormones, then usually that helps so much that that's all that has to be done. But I also take the serotonin and dopamine at bedtime because I come from a long line of crazies, and serotonin and dopamine are things that we are low in. And so that, again, helps balance that for depression and anxiety and even sugar cravings and all that good stuff. But it also works on insomnia. Hey, Deller. What if you have no hormones? Everybody has hormones. See, that's the thing. We make hormones till the day we die. So, Camille, I will address that blood sugar, but let me go back to Deller. You do have hormones. You have hormones and it's funny because I was sitting in my office, I had 2 people in my office, and one of my staff members came in and said, well, what about one of your clients wants to know how long they have to take the menopause drops? And I immediately say as long as they want to remain a woman. And a few minutes later, somebody goes walking by and sticks their tongue out at me in the hallway, so I knew it was them. But the oldest person I have on the menopause drops is indeed, thank you, Sissy, for all the hearts. You're making me happy. All the hearts. Thank you. The oldest person is 97 that I'm balancing their hormones. So we're still making hormones, okay? We're still making hormones. So, Camille wants me to talk about blood sugar. That's a great one, Camille. The main thing that you need to do is if you change your diet. I had a cancer guy in there today, and he was saying that he just feels so much better, just so much better. And the first and most important thing is that that if you just correct your diet, that usually does it all. But some people have trouble giving up the sugar and carbohydrates. And if they have trouble giving up sugar and carbohydrates, then I really like that L-glutamine powder. That's what helps with sugar cravings. But if you're already diabetic and you're trying to get off some meds and you're trying to get it all put back in balance, I really like that blood sugar defense. And we've had a lot of products come and go. I can't tell. Where is that one, Carla? We have a lot of products come and go, but that's the one that I keep. I'm sorry, honey. Just point. They're telling me I only have a couple of minutes anyway, so the product called Blood Sugar Defense, and we might be out. We get out a lot of it, but that's the one that we use for people that are already diabetic. But the best thing you can do is change your diet. You know, and if you're O blood types, you get to eat steak and seafood and vegetables and seeds and nuts. And if you're A blood type, you get to eat peanut butter and seafood and all that. There's something good about everybody. And if you're B blood type, you get to have dairy. So, I mean, there's lots of good things you can do. Just remember, guys, you can make an appointment with me. There's no charge. And we can talk about your prostate. Thanks, guys. Thanks for asking questions. Wait a minute, Sissy, did you have when everyone was totally healed from diabetes from changing their diet? Yep. It happens all the time. I hear it all the time. But what I'm counting on is how it's going to keep people from getting cancer and how it's going to make a difference. And yet Buddy's saying that diet is a way of life. It is so true. And Karen and Buddy are two of the people that I believe really are the only ones that really eat exactly right. Love y'all. Thanks. Bye. See you next week.